The story of Taira no Sadamichi, Chapter 10. Once upon a time, in the household of Minamoto no Yorimitsu, many guests had gathered for a feast and were enjoying themselves. Among them was Yorimitsu's younger brother, Minamoto no Yorichika. During this gathering, there was a warrior named Taira no Sadamichi who served Yorimitsu. On that day, when Sadamichi had served wine, Yorichika loudly called out to him in front of the guests, saying, "There is a certain person from Suruga province who has been disrespectful to me. Go and bring me his head." Sadamichi, upon hearing this, thought to himself, "Even though I am a retainer of the Lord here, and though he is the head of a household, he has not yet served me. This is a matter that should be directed to someone of my standing. Moreover, to publicly declare such a demand among so many people seems inappropriate and uncouth. How could one possibly make such an announcement?" As a result, Sadamichi did not respond directly and let the matter drop. Later, after 3 or 4 months, Sadamichi had to travel to the eastern provinces on urgent business. The matter Yorichika had mentioned was quickly forgotten, as it seemed irrelevant. However, on the road, Sadamichi happened to meet the very man whom Yorichika had ordered to be punished. The man, softly speaking and gently handling his horse, was unaware of the orders. Eventually, Sadamichi, remembering the old command, thought, "Indeed, such an order was given. Even though I serve my lord, I have not yet served Yorichika. Since people have heard this order, it must be taken seriously. It is strange indeed that this order was given." The man then said, "I have heard from someone in Kyoto that this was expected. It seems the lord was quite perturbed. This is why the order to bring his head was issued. If you are to act on this order, please do so, or otherwise I would not know what to say." The man's demeanor appeared calm, and Sadamichi thought, if he truly does not realize the gravity of the situation, it would be a mistake to let him go. He should be executed and his head presented to the Lord. As Sadamichi thought this, he made a decision. He drew his sword and struck the man down. After a brief interval, Sadamichi informed his retainers of the situation, prepared his horse, and set off to follow the man's trail. As he crossed the divide at Urahara and emerged into a wider field, Sadamichi, calling out loudly, declared, "This is indeed what I have decided." He pursued the fleeing man, who, though still on horseback, was eventually shot and killed by Sadamichi's archers. The retainers of the fallen man scattered and fled. Sadamichi brought the man's head back to Kyoto and presented it to Yorichika, who was greatly pleased and rewarded Sadamichi with a fine horse and an honorarium. Later, when Sadamichi spoke to others, he said, "It was indeed necessary to execute him as he had disregarded the orders. This is why the head was brought here. It reflects the gravity of the command and the need to maintain order." Hearing this, people grew even more fearful of Sadamichi's reputation. Thus, the story has been passed down. The story of Minamoto no Yorichika and the Thief, Chapter 12. Once upon a time, there was a warrior named Minamoto no Yorichika, who was the governor of Kawachi province. He had heard of a fine horse in the east and sent a request to the owner to acquire it. Despite some reluctance from the horse's owner, the horse was eventually handed over to Yorichika. However, a thief who coveted the horse greatly decided to steal it. The thief, waiting for the right moment, followed Yorichika's men and managed to steal the horse on the road to Kyoto, eventually reaching the city with it. Meanwhile, Yorichika's son, Yoriyoshi, heard that a good horse was being brought from the east and thought that the horse might be taken by someone else if he didn't act quickly. He decided to visit his grandfather's house to see the horse for himself. Despite heavy rain, Yoriyoshi went out, eager to see the horse. When he arrived, his grandfather asked him, "Why have you been gone so long?" Yoriyoshi thought, "I came here because I heard that a fine horse was on its way, and I wanted to see if it truly is as good as reported." Before Yoriyoshi could respond, his grandfather said, "I have heard that a horse from the east is coming, but I have not seen it yet. The messenger said it was a good horse. Since it is dark and hard to see now, we should wait until morning to properly assess it. If it seems good, take it swiftly." Yoriyoshi, feeling pleased with this, decided to stay the night and see the horse in the morning. They spent the evening talking, and eventually, Yoriyoshi and his grandfather went to sleep. Late at night, amid the ongoing rain, the thief entered the stable and took the horse, making off with it. When the thief took the horse and left, someone in the stable raised an alarm, shouting, "The horse that was to arrive tonight has been stolen by a thief." Yorichika, hearing the commotion faintly, woke up without informing Yoriyoshi. He quickly donned his clothes and armor, took up his bow, and set off alone to pursue the thief. Yorichika's grandfather thought, "My son will certainly chase after the thief," while Yoriyoshi thought, "My grandfather will certainly be ahead in the pursuit," and he ran to keep up. After crossing the river, the rain stopped and the sky cleared. Yoriyoshi ran faster and soon reached the place called Sekiyama. The thief, thinking he could not escape now, was moving slowly through the water at Sekiyama. Yorichika, hearing this, told his men to shoot the thief. The sound of the bow was heard, and the thief, hearing the noise, was struck and fell. The sound of the horse's movement also stopped. Yorichika instructed his men, "The thief has already been shot. Quickly go and retrieve the horse." Without waiting, he returned to his home, and Yoriyoshi, catching up, managed to recover the horse. The retainers who had heard about the incident joined them on the way back to Kyoto, and by the time they returned, the group had grown to 30 people. When Yorichika returned home and saw the horse, he said nothing about the event and, without further comment, went back to sleep as usual. Yoriyoshi also entrusted the recovered horse to his retainers and went to bed. The next morning, Yorichika called Yoriyoshi and remarked, "It is rare to recover a stolen horse. It seems it was a fine shot." He did not mention the previous night's events. He had the horse brought out, and seeing it was indeed a fine horse, he decided to keep it. Additionally, he provided a fine saddle, as it was believed that the horse was a reward for the thief being shot. Thus, the story has been passed down. The Tale of the Punishment of Abe Sadamune and Others. Once upon a time, during the reign of Emperor Koko, there was a man named Abe Yoriyoshi in the 6 districts. His father was known as Abe Tadayoshi. The family had long been the leaders of the Ebisu clan. They were powerful and unmatched, and their influence extended beyond the borders of Iwaki province. The regional governors were unable to control them, as the family did not comply with public duties. At the time of the Aisho era, the provincial governor Fujiwara no Nobuyori sent many soldiers to attack them. However, Yoriyoshi, with the help of his clan, repelled the soldiers and many were killed. When the emperor heard of this, he promptly issued a decree to eliminate Yoriyoshi. He sent Minamoto no Yoriyoshi, who was appointed as the general of the Northern Army, along with his sons, Minamoto no Yoshi and Minamoto no Yoshitsune, and many soldiers to defeat Yoriyoshi. In the meantime, a sudden imperial pardon was granted, and Yoriyoshi was spared. He was greatly relieved and changed his name to Abe Yoritsune, partly because it was a taboo to share the same name as the guardian deity. Yoritsune, feeling secure under this new name, had no further issues. In the year following this event, Yoritsune entered the Northern Army headquarters for administrative duties. For several days, he served the commander without limit and even bestowed treasures like fine horses upon him. However, when the commander returned to his residence, he camped near the Akuri River and was attacked by Fujiwara no Setsuzai's children, Mitsusada and Mototsada. Some men and horses were killed. Not knowing who was responsible, the commander inquired with Mitsusada, who responded, "Years ago, Abe Sadamune had proposed that Mitsusada's sister should become his wife. However, because of Mitsusada's lowly status, the proposal was not accepted. Mitsusada was deeply ashamed of this. It is likely that Mitsusada was behind this." The commander was furious and wanted to punish Sadamune, but Yoritsune advised Sadamune, saying, "All things in this world are for the sake of one's family. Sadamune is like a son to me. It is difficult to abandon him. Seeing him killed would be unbearable. If you close the gate and do not listen to these accusations, there would be no further issues. The commander is already content. The day of his ascension is near. Even if his anger persists, he cannot personally blame you. I will also fight to defend you. Do not grieve." Thus, Yoritsune fortified the Iwaki barrier and closed the paths to prevent anyone from passing through. Consequently, the commander became even more enraged, mustering a large army to attack, leading to widespread chaos within the province. Yoritsune's son-in-law, Fujiwara no Kiyomasa, and others also sided with the commander. Among them, Nagahira, who wore a silver helmet, was suspected of plotting and was eventually executed along with four other conspirators. Kiyomasa, witnessing the situation, feared for his life and privately discussed with trusted allies, "What can I do to avoid death?" He was advised to flee quickly and join the army of Ida. Trusting this advice, Kiyomasa spread a rumor that Yoritsune's army was approaching from a side route to attack the provincial capital and that they were aiming to capture the northern regions. This led to confusion among the commander's troops, allowing Kiyomasa to escape with a private force of over 800 soldiers and join Yoritsune. Meanwhile, after Yoriyoshi's tenure ended, Takakage no Kiyomasa was appointed to replace him. Despite the ongoing battle, Kiyomasa refused the position and remained in his post. Consequently, Takakage was reinstated to fight against Yoritsune. The emperor issued a decree stating that Takakage, along with Ushiro no Akitaka and other chiefs from the northern lands, should join forces to attack Yoritsune. Subsequently, the chiefs from the Kanaya, Nito, and Usuri districts, led by Abe Tomataka, assembled a large army and attacked Yoritsune. Yoritsune fought fiercely for 2 days, but was eventually struck by an arrow and died at the Bird's Sea barrier. Afterward, the commander gathered over 3,000 soldiers to attack Sadamune and his allies. Despite their efforts, the commander's army was defeated, and many were killed. The commander's son, Yoshi, renowned for his bravery and accuracy, continued to fight, causing the enemy to retreat. Amidst the battle, some of the commander's loyal retainers, including Seiki no Kiyomichi, fought valiantly but were ultimately killed. Saiki, a seasoned warrior, believed that in this final battle, he should not die alone. His followers shared his sentiment and fought bravely until they were all killed. Fujiwara no Kiyomichi, Kiyomasa's son, fought heroically but was killed by the enemy. Despite the enemy's admiration for Kiyomichi's bravery, he was executed due to his role as the commander's bodyguard. Many of the commander's close retainers fought bravely, but some were killed by the enemy. Fujiwara no Shigeoyori, a close associate, was devastated by the defeat. He shaved his head to become a monk and, upon encountering the commander, expressed both joy and sorrow, returning with him. Following this, Sadamune's influence grew and he continued to impose his authority on the districts. Kiyomasa, with a large army, issued orders to collect taxes using private tokens, white signs, rather than official ones, red signs. This caused significant unrest as the commander was unable to stop it. The commander, seeking allies, convinced the leader of the northern lands, Kiyohara no Mitsuyori, and his brother Takusue to join him. Mitsuyori and his followers agreed and mobilized a large force to support the commander. The commander, delighted by this support, advanced with over 3,000 troops and met Takesue in Kurihara district. They discussed their plans and assigned various leaders to different battalions. Takesue, swearing an oath before the royal palace, committed himself fully to the cause, inspiring his troops. The next day, the army camped in the area of the Iwai River and continued their advance. Takasue's troops set fire to the outer defenses of the castle, causing chaos among the defenders. The commander, fearing treachery, ordered his forces to be cautious and prepared. As the battle raged, a sudden storm hit, causing massive destruction within the castle. The enemy forces, either fleeing or fighting desperately, were eventually overcome by the commander's troops. The commander, having successfully driven out the enemies, captured Fujiwara no Kiyomasa. The commander, confronting Kiyomasa, reproached him for his past disloyalty and ordered his execution. Kiyomasa, showing no remorse, was slowly executed with a blunt sword. Sadamune, fighting fiercely, was eventually overpowered and killed. His wife, holding their 3-year-old child, threw herself into a deep abyss, ending her life as the castle was overrun. In the end, Sadamune's relatives, including Abe Tamamori and his younger brother Ieyoshi, surrendered. After some time, 9 of Sadamune's allies also surrendered. The following year, the heads of Sadamune, Kiyomasa, and Ieyoshi were brought to Kyoto, where they were displayed publicly, causing much uproar.